I wholeheartedly believe that past lives are real. Like, there's not any part of me that is like, maybe, I don't know. I fully believe it. I believe that we are on one continuous journey. Once our soul is born, we're on one journey. Sometimes we incarnate as humans, sometimes we've incarnated as other beings. But the human school, my understanding is that all of us, every being, possibly, I don't know if that's true, but those of us that have at least been human, we have to go through human school. And it's the hardest school there is. It is the densest, it is the hardest, it is the darkest. And once we graduate human school, Earth school, then we're like, whew, we're on to bigger, better things. Now, in between, I do believe that sometimes people come to Earth and then they go back to the Pleiades or Orion or wherever else they do. And they kind of, but if there's still some work to do on human school, you're going to come back. So I fully believe in human school. Now, the thing that's so cool about past lives is it's not about like the cool story, like maybe I was a this, or maybe I was a gypsy, or maybe I was a king or queen. Let me tell you, kings and queens, very rare. Most people are like, we're like ordinary, right? It's like the ordinary lives. It's not like, oh my God, I was Queen Elizabeth in a past life. Maybe somebody was, I don't know. But I've met very few king and queens, princesses. I've met some people in past lives that have, like, they've been higher up, like politically, but it's very rare. So, but anyway, the story is really often exciting and like interesting, but that's not what the most important thing is when it comes to past lives. The most important thing is what is happening currently in this life that could be bridged, that may be unexplainable, a pattern, something wrong with your body, that you're just like, why am I like this? Or why is it like this? Why does this hurt all the time? Or why do I keep cycling into this pattern? Why do I keep attracting narcissists over and over again, or whatever the case may be? Sometimes if we're not able to link it back to this life, track it back, well, it's because my dad was a narcissist. Got it. But it could be like this mystery thing. You might want to look a little bit further, going back. For example, my husband, he had an issue with his knee in this life, knee surgery. He has a giant scar and he had colon cancer. Two major things going on in his body. When he was healing from the cancer surgery for cancer, I called in all of my amazing shamanic healers. This was back in San Francisco, and there was about 8 of us in the room. And they did a massive healing on him. And it came to light, like almost everyone saw this, including myself, that he was injured in a past life. He was actually a white soldier. And like on the opposite side, like raiding what's it called? I shouldn't say that. Native Americans, like it's so awful. And what was so interesting about that past life for him was that he loathed it. He didn't have a choice back then. He was a soldier. He knew it was wrong. He was deeply did not want to do what he was doing. And it was like an interesting thing to see that, like, we blame the white man. Yes, it's horrible, awful. I was just reading about the path of the trail of the wounded knee, like in depth. Wow, like it's so intense what happened to the Lakota people. So he was on the white man's side and he loathed it. He did not want to be there. He didn't have a choice. He was really young. Anyway, so in that life, he got in a tussle with what looked like a chief, a higher up person in the Native American tribe he was invading. It's so terrible. And his knee got hurt, shot arrow, and his stomach. So he got hurt in those 2 places. And my daughter in that life was Native American, and she was with those people. And the daughter in that, our daughter in that life helped him. Like, she was Native American, but helped him. So they have this deep connection. But the body and the soul remembered those 2 wounds, and the wounds were connected to guilt, connected to anger for what had occurred. And so we did this massive healing, and I'm proud to say and happy to say he's cancer free. That was 15 years ago. And his knee might always have an issue, but he's fine. but it was profound. And luckily, I was with a group of people that could see that. So sometimes we really do want to go back and look at what could be going on in this life that's affecting our current life and do deeper healing work necessary, especially if you're in a pattern that it keeps coming up, something keeps coming up. And it got me to thinking that, you know how I've been on, like, I was reading about the Wounded Knee, so it got me thinking that, you hear about Native Americans on the reservations in current time, that a lot of them are suffering mental illness and depression and alcoholism. That's been like, they're running casinos and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Just they're suffering. And what I've seen is that some of them was the white man, caused pain in the past life and have incarnated back into this level of suffering, addiction, and alcoholism as like their karma working out the what they did, like working it out. So that cycle of like incarnating, when you see people or groups of people that keep incarnating into suffering, like the Middle East, the guides have shown me that so many of those souls keep reincarnating one side, the other side, and then one side, the other side. And they are just caught in this web and cycle of suffering, this web and cycle of samsara. And it's like, the idea is hopefully get them free out of it. And I just started thinking about the Native Americans too. It's like, and I often think about too, like factory farm animals. I've done meditations and journeys on that. And my guides have shown me that often there are people that are dealing with such deep karma, like that they had caused serious harm to people in another life. And this is what they're working out. It's their penance in this life. Just deep stuff. Like they know, like the souls know what they're doing. Now, I'm not a fan of factory farms. I don't want any of that stuff to happen, or animal abuse of any kind, or human abuse of any kind, but we don't know what a sentient being, a being's journey is. We have no idea. Even animals, like, why did they choose to come in as a cow, a dog, a horse? Why did we choose to come in as a human? Why did I choose to come in and lose my parents, get abused, all the terrible things? Part of me, did it because I want to help people. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to experience it all in this lifetime, so that when someone sits in front of me, I'm like, I know what they're going through. I can hold it with compassion. But it was a really hard thing to do. And was it necessary? And I asked myself, did I really need to do that to be of service to other people? But my own journey is deeper, which I won't go into it. It's, I've been unwinding it. So if you're going through something, or there's something that keeps cycling in yourself, or you're like, there's a part of your body that's like, it won't heal. Like, what? This makes no sense. Or I've done the emotional work for this part of my body. Maybe, and it's not moving. Maybe it's connected to a past life. It's quite possible. Or if you keep incarnating into specific certain types of relationships, past life, money. Money is huge. People often take what's called the vow of poverty. Sometime in some lifetime, maybe they were part of the church or whatever it is, and then that vow of poverty keeps them literally linked in poverty. And we got to go back and unlock that so that you can free yourself up to have the wealth and abundance that you want. Here's the thing. Poverty, it's painful. So if there is something, like I was born into a very poor family, very poor. My grandmother was wealthy, but my dad was very, 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 we were poor, like lights off poor, like an apple in the fridge kind of poor. That's kind of, you know what I mean? So I've had to unwind of that. And of course, I took a vow of poverty somewhere along the way, and I'm not aligned with that anymore. I don't want that anymore at all. So I went out and cleared it. So I'm going to encourage you, if this is landing with you, just get really curious. And you might be going, how do I know? How do I find out what the past life is? Find a practitioner, find someone who knows, that can help you go into a trance-like state so that you can follow and use the body as a map to help you get back to those past lives that may be affecting you in this life, and stay away from the ego. That's my advice, because the story is interesting. Yes, it's interesting. But what's the most important thing is, how is it playing out in this life, so that you can clear it out of your karmic system, your energy field. Because I don't know about you, like I said, I don't want to keep coming back here doing the same dance over and over and over again. Earth school is the hardest school around. There is nothing harder than being on Earth. Nothing. We're the densest. We have the darkest. I mean, there's a lot of light, a lot of joy. There's all these things too. But man, do we have to weed through all of that. We really do. We have our work cut out for us. We have our work cut out for us. So next time you're thinking about something you're going through, I wonder, like curious, like I wonder. And the people in your life, you know, I can say, oh, I feel like I've known them forever. You probably have. You probably have known them forever. We tend to incarnate and meet people we have been with in past lives. And sometimes it's not always an awesome relationship in the past life or even in this lifetime. And there's something to heal with that as well. All right. My name is Beth Osmer, and I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you on the next video.